Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar, where we sit down and talk with interesting professional guitar players, uncover their stories, and discover what makes them tick. If you love guitar, music, and the backstory of people's lives, stick around. You're in the right place. This episode of Everyone Loves Guitar is brought to you by Taylor Guitars and their new Grand Pacific Round Shoulder Dreadnought. Powered by Taylor's breakthrough V-Class bracing system, the Grand Pacific gives you a warm, seasoned sound with clear low-end power and notes that are stronger, longer sustaining, and more in tune with each other all the way up the fretboard. Make sure you check it out online at taylorguitars.com, then go out and play one today. That's the new Grand Pacific at taylorguitars.com. Did you know if your instrument or any of your gear is damaged, broken, or stolen outside your home, your homeowner's insurance policy will not cover any of it? That's right. Homeowner's insurance only pays if something happens inside your home. But Music Pro Insurance insures all your music gear, no matter where it is, anywhere in the world, even when you check it in as baggage on an airline. Here, let me give you some examples. Let's say you're in a car accident and your equipment is damaged, you're covered. Your kid pours apple juice into your amplifier, covered. Someone spills beer all over your pedal board at a gig somewhere across the world, boom, you're covered. Any kind of theft or accidental damage is covered, even water damage from hurricanes and breakage from earthquakes. But here's what makes Music Pro really different. They're not going to argue with you over the value of your instrument or make you run around looking for receipts when it comes time to paying your claim. They know exactly why your vintage instrument is worth 10 times more than a new one. Plus, all claims are typically paid and fully settled in 24 to 48 hours. So if your equipment is not insured properly, go to musicproinsurance.com, hit standard, then enter your information and get a free gear protection estimate. Don't be that player who ignores this, and then next month when something happens, you're wondering why you didn't take 10 minutes to do this properly. Make sure you go to musicproinsurance.com, enter your information, and get a free gear protection estimate. If something happens, you will be thanking me. Trust me on this. musicproinsurance.com. The Be Fulfilled Journal helps you be more honest with yourself and with others, and be more open to handling things you've avoided dealing with for years. It's a 12-week online and journal program that helps you identify and eliminate things you do that are causing you stress and live in more gratitude and joy. It was actually developed by a long-term friend of mine who got sober in 2008, and he's put together a great deal just for my listeners. You get the 300-page hardcover journal and access to the 12-week video program online, plus free shipping, plus membership in a private Facebook support group with others going through the program, plus a 5-day mini course showing you how to let go of stuff that's draining your energy, plus a 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. To start your journey and get all the bonuses, go to BeFulfilledJournal.com/ELG. That's BeFulfilledJournal.com/ELG. For information about advertising on Everyone Loves Guitar, including information on geographically targeted ads, go to everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise. That's everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise. Hey, this is Craig, and I just want to talk to you about something serious for a moment before we start today's episode. In 2018, at the very beginning of the year, in January, I had interviewed Frank Sidoris. Frank was and still is Slash's guitar player. He's a lovely guy, really cool, and just a tremendous guitar player. And I actually had a lot of fun with Frank, and he's one of those guys we stayed in touch throughout this time. And last week I read some really unfortunate news on his social media channels that his girlfriend has cervical cancer. And I don't know if you have had a family member or had cancer impact your life or your family's life or a friend's life, but I have, and it's a terribly devastating disease in every single way, and the sense of powerlessness that you feel when a loved one has cancer is really devastating. Anyway, Frank's girlfriend, I do not believe, has any kind of medical insurance. He is running a GoFundMe campaign, and I just wanted to tell you about the campaign if you are inclined to go donate, make a donation. I know Frank and his girlfriend would appreciate it. And I just wanted to give you the location of where you could find that campaign. The best thing to do is go to Frank's socials, and his Instagram and Twitter is both at Frank Sidoris, and his name is Frank, FrankSidoris. And you can also find it on his Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Frank Sidoris. Again, FrankSidoris. Any little bit you're willing to give will help those guys out. And I'm just going to run this message for this week to help Frank and his family out. And whether you've been impacted by cancer or not, I certainly thank you for listening to this, and I wish you nothing but good health. So now let's get on with the show. Hey, everybody, this is Craig Garber. Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar. I've got a great guitar player from a really cool psychedelic stoner rock band out of Sweden, which you guys know I love that genre, and these guys are just wonderful. We're with Henrik Gruttner from, let me not mess up the name of the band, Skraeckoedlan, and let me spell that for you. It's S. Stop what you're doing and just write this down, because I really want you to listen to their new record. It's just fucking brilliant. So I'm going to spell this out. Grab a pen. All right, or pencil, whatever. If you're driving, you're kind of fucked, but don't worry. Just go to my website. It's going to be on there. It's Skraeckoedlan. Like for us, it looks like if you're playing Scrabble when all the pieces are mixed up. That's what that looks like to an American. So let me tell you about Henrik. He's a great guitar player, and they did some brilliant writing on this latest record. Grew up with music around him all the time. His dad was a musician when he was younger, and so they had a lot of stuff like Zeppelin, Sabbath, Blue Oyster Cult, ELO, Bowie, Pink Floyd, and that sort of thing. As a kid, though, he said it really didn't feel cool to listen to what your parents liked, and so he listened to whatever was on the charts at that particular time on radio. A couple of years after he started elementary school in Sweden, and this is so cool about Sweden, and this is why there's so many brilliant musicians there. I've interviewed many of them, but there's just tons of great players there. In elementary school, they get to choose an instrument to play. So it's either typically the recorder or the violin, but in Henrik's case, everybody in his class chose a recorder except for him. So what that meant is at the end of the school year for the concert, he had to perform alone in front of the entire school. That was his first gig ever. After that, he retired his violin playing. In middle school, they got to choose from a wider array of instruments as part of this music school creative stuff they have over there, again, which is so cool. And he picked guitar because his dad had an acoustic guitar at home, so it felt kind of familiar. And you're English. I didn't tell you this, man. To write this well in English, and it's your second language, I mean, it's just incredible, man, honestly. Somewhere in the beginning of his teens, he made his first real profound musical discovery, which was Metallica. He was blown away, and he listened to them for years. And after listening to them, is probably the reason why he stayed with electric guitar. After Metallica faded, he discovered bands like Queens of the Stone Age, which, believe it or not, I have Troy coming on this afternoon, funny enough. Caius, Fu Manchu, and Mastodon and The Sword, and other bands that have made similar bands that made big impact on him as a musician today. He's been in a few bands growing up, just messing about, nothing too serious. Him and Martin, who's the drummer of Skraeckoedlan, the current band, they're childhood friends, so they played a lot together in different bands. They got a good vibe going, had it together. The project they had before the band, they played in a national music competition, and that's where they met Robert, the singer and the other guitar player, playing in another band. Three of them hit it off on a personal and musical level. They had great vibes, and they started Skraeckoedlan as a side project. And this is what they've basically been doing ever since. The band's released 3 full-length albums since 2011, including this last one, Earth, which is just epic. I mean, it's just amazing. 8 songs, comes in at like close to an hour. If you like psychedelic stoner rock, this is a great, great record, and I cannot encourage you more to listen to it. And I want to thank, before we get started, Dango, Nicholas Kalgren from Truck Fighters, for connecting Henrik and I and putting this together. So thanks, Dango. You're the man. Dude, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's great to be on.
My pleasure. It's so great how Sweden supports music and the arts. And that stuff got cut off here years ago. It's just tragic because I think it has an impact on like keeping kids out of trouble,
Yeah. I mean, I think so. And, because you mentioned in the intro that you can choose an instrument when you start school. I think they have expanded that as well since I was in school, but to like more of the arts, so like you can do painting or some kind of craft or dancing, so I think that's included in that now as well. Yeah, and that's awesome.
So awesome.
I really like it.
I mean, think of how many kids. I'm not getting off on some tangent, but I think it's great because how many kids maybe like here, instead of like hanging out in the streets, they'd suddenly develop a passion for painting or dancing or the recorder or what. I just think it's a nice thing to engage people's brains and creativity.
Yeah, I mean, at least give them the chance to try it out.
Absolutely.
You never know.
Man, this is your third full-length album, and we'll talk about it, but this is a very ambitious effort, which you guys nailed, and it's different from the last two albums in that it's a collaboration that you guys did with a Swedish science fiction author. I was wondering if you could talk about the entire premise of the record, including how you guys wound up connecting with the author, whose name is Nils Håkansson. I hope I didn't mess that up. And,
that's great.
And you'll have me talking Swedish, yeah. And what was so what was so compelling about this to get involved? Because it's a big undertaking.
Yeah, absolutely. And how did this start? So we studied together, actually, the entire band. We studied music at like this school where you study as a band, and the goal is just to be the band and to explore the band and to do basically whatever you want in the context of a band. So we did that together.
And that's at school. Like the government pays for that?
Yeah. So you get
God.
It's like you get paid a little bit, and then you get to loan some money. But yeah.
Wow, man! How come all these people aren't migrating to Sweden? That's the place to be. Oh, the cold weather could be it, man.
That's probably it. If you want to give a something.
Yeah, that's the place. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. But anyway, when we were there, we were in the talks of doing this, our third album. So we knew that we wanted to do something sci-fi related. So we started like studying Swedish sci-fi a little bit, and started reading a book, another book, which we wanted to base the album on. And it was like during this time that Nils, he got in touch with us, actually. He sent us this book that he had written called Järnskallen, which is like the Iron Skull.
What is it called? The Iron what?
Yeah. So he sent Skull.
The Iron Skull. Okay.
Skull. Like, yeah.
No, it wasn't you. You just the Skype broke up for a second. It wasn't you.
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
So anyway, he sent us a copy and said that he was a fan of our music and that it would be fun to meet up. So he came to one of our shows a bit later. I think we played in Stockholm, and we got talking about maybe doing something together. And then he presented us with this idea. He had written like a little short story, which takes place in the same universe as this book, The Iron Skull, that he had written. So a little, a short story separate from this story, but in the same universe. And he just wondered, do you guys want to make this into music?
So like, did he know that you had been wanting to do a science fiction record? Like
no, not really. That's just one of these funny coincidences that
Like, does that happen all the time, that people randomly just connect with you guys and say, hey, do you want to do a science? I mean, like, what are the...
Yeah, not really. I mean, I don't know. The cosmos came together or something.
Oh my God.
So that was great. So let's do that. So we scrapped the thing we were doing earlier and we'll do this with you.
Holy shit.
So he sent us the drafts for this story. and we just split it up into different chapters representing each of the songs, and just started working with that perspective. So like, this song needs to be first, and it needs to have like this kind of tempo, and set this mood, and then that's like how we did it.
It's just amazing.
It was a really
what are the chances?
Really interesting process.
What did you get out of this? Because this is a pretty anytime you go through something so extensive and exhausting, you probably learned something. What was something that you learned out of doing this?
Oh man, I mean that I don't know that we are able to write songs in this fashion. I mean, because we haven't really had like a certain way that we write songs before. So just time for an album. Let's do some songs. It was really nice to have this kind of structure to look at and lean back on, and be able to just basically follow it. So that was awesome. Also, just trying to make the songs work as individual songs, as well as work while being put together into this concept album kind of thing. So that was a real challenge, but a real fun one.
You guys did great. This is such a great record, man. I want to talk about, we chatted a little bit before we started on the call. You made a really cool video for the Song Off the Earth album called,
thanks.
You say it, Elfen.
Elfenbenssalarna.
Right.
So for all of you non-Swedish speakers out there, that would translate into the ivory halls, basically.
Really great video.
Thank you very much. We know this awesome filmmaker and photographer that we like to work with. Done a bunch of stuff with him.
Talk about the story, and you could watch that video if you go to YouTube and just enter the band's name. It should be one of the first ones that come up. But the song is called Elfenbenssalarna. It's ELFENBENSSALARNA. What's the premise of the story going on there? Because that was so. Well, first of all, Henrik is like nude in there, not front nude, but but that's not the thing about it. Is nude, and it's like, he said it was -9 degrees Celsius when there's snow all over the floor, and you did a great job. But I don't know how much was acting, like when you're putting your hand up and it's shaking. Was that how much was acting and how much was reality?
Yeah, Mats, the filmmaker, he actually said, "But you can try and shake some bit and try to look really, really cold."
It was
great.
Like,
I am pretty cold, so that's easy.
That was great. But what was the premise of the story of that particular song?
That song. How do I say this without revealing too much? Because we like to keep it quite suggestive, more than to actually spell the story out. So it's a bit of it is up to the listener.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, but this song, Elfenbenssalarna, it's about this. How will I say this? It's like the journey that is the album. This Elfenbenssalarna, the Ivory Halls, is the kind of the place that everything leads up to, where the sort of conclusion happens. And that's really all I want to say about.
Okay, that's fair enough, man. No, it was great. No, it was, because it was good, because I had an idea of kind of like what's going on in my head, but it may be totally different than what the next person looking at that. So I was totally get that, man. It was, because it wasn't really concrete, because it was a lot of like, I think this is going on, and it's cool. I like that I had the freedom to sort of make that, whatever story I want, based on, and plus it's suggestive based on the mood of the music, which is going to be different for different people, how I feel when I'm listening to it. So that's really cool. I totally down on that, man.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of how we wanted to do the entire record. Like more like we try and set the mood and to provide like the general feeling that we get from the story. And then like, for those of you who don't speak Swedish, it's going to be hard enough anyways to, but I mean, the lyrics reveal a part of what's going on, of course. But not that much. Much of it is metaphor. And like trying to convey, feelings, basically. And then you can fill in the blanks and let your mind take you to wherever. So that's like the general idea of it.
It was really cool. It was filmed really well, like with the gunshot. Yeah, that looked just as good as any movie thing that you'd ever see, man. It was super professional, man.
Thank you. Well, not that I did the animation, but thank you.
Oh, it was really well done. Really, really. And even just like, when he leaves his apartment, or you probably call it a flat there, I guess. Apartment or flat. Either is fine. And there's people walking in. Just the whole thing of it was incredibly well done. You don't see videos like that anymore, really, because the budgets aren't there.
No, exactly. And we wanted to. I mean, a lot of videos, especially in the like rock, I guess, community, is more like just the bands are standing playing.
Right.
And that's basically the premise. So we let's do something a bit different from that.
Really great.
Nice. Oh, and fun fact, the apartment in the beginning is that's my apartment. And Robert,
really?
And Robert's the singer. We live together.
That's really cool. I was wondering about that. It's funny. I was wondering, like, is that somebody in the band's apartment or something? Is all of that as a guy from here? I've never been there, so it's very adventuresome to watch.
Oh yeah, sure.
Places that you've never been, like just the way it's laid out is different. The way you walk out into, and I was wondering, is that in a city? Is it crowded? Is it like in a sub? I was out asking all these questions because I'm always interested in the shit I don't know about, to be honest with you, just to like get turned on to new stuff,
Oh yeah, of course.
It was really cool. Also, unlike a lot of Swedish bands, you guys sing in Swedish. And I was just curious, if you don't mind me asking, why was that? Because you clearly like have a very solid mastery of English, not just in speaking, but in writing, which is more difficult. And I didn't listen to the first two records. Are they in Swedish as well?
Mostly, yes. On the first one, we did a couple of tracks in English. And I think that's probably us trying to find our way and identity as a band, trying to figure out what we want to do and what we want to be. But the idea with the band from the beginning was because it started as like a side project. We all had different bands from the beginning. So then Robert, who is the singer, he came up with a name, and he invited me and Martin to join him. And let's play some kind of slow, doomy stoner thing and sing in Swedish. So that was like the premise as a fun side project.
And I appreciate your honesty on that. And I think it reveals a lot when you say we were trying to find ourselves. I think that in general, whenever in any endeavor, whether it's music, business, anything, I think there's I think it's important to point that out, that whenever you do something, you don't have your shit together day one. It's it's an exploration. You figure things out, and you like doing this, and this is good, and that's good. And I appreciate you saying that, because I think all too often people don't do projects because they feel uncertain, but it's impossible you don't feel certain until you actually do it anyway.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think that's part of what's fun. With doing it, because I mean, it is a process. It still is. I mean, we don't know where we're going to be in 5 years, let let alone 1 year.
Sure.
I mean, sound-wise and as people and everything. So, I mean, I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I do
the
as
whole
well.
The whole process of it, I think it's fun and fascinating.
Yeah, and plus you grow, as you do different things and you learn different
totally.
things and you get turned on to new stuff. And, sometimes the best ideas come from the least expected places, which I think is really cool too.
Absolutely.
No. Well, good. You guys,
agreement.
You guys have done a great job. I know you're going to be doing a little bit of touring to support the record, and I want to talk about that at the end of the show. But is there anything else that you're doing to support or market it?
Yeah, I mean, we did a music video, and we have sent out a bunch of like this media promo.
Sure. Well, what's Dango's doing a ton of. He's doing, he's really good about promoting stuff from Fuzzorama.
Yeah, they're awesome. Both he and Oscar are really, really great. Actually, no. Other than that, I think we're mainly doing the bit of touring thing and trying to get in touch with different sites and magazines.
Great. Well, I hope a lot of people will get turned on to this from this show. What does the band's name mean in English?
Yeah, so it would be like if you translate it word by word, it would be the horror lizard. The dinosaur would work as well. It's like a Godzilla reference.
The horror lizard, or maybe someone's ex-wife. You could say that or something.
Exactly.
I don't know if they have. I don't know if people are so critical about ex-wives over in Sweden.
That Skraeckoedlan is actually it is like a slur, an old slur, or like a derogative term for that kind of thing. You're spot on. Found us out.
Some things are universal all over the world, man. Hey, where in Sweden are you originally from? Like, where'd you grow up?
So I'm in Norrköping right now, which is like 2 hours south of Stockholm. Yeah, maybe just a little less than 2 hours. Anyway, so I'm actually born about here, 30 minutes from where I am right now, like small town. It's called Finspång for those of you, but like 20,000 people there, maybe.
Oh, so it's a very rural.
Yeah. I mean, Norrköping, where I am right now, is not that big. It's maybe, 150,000 people, maybe.
Yeah. What's the population of Sweden?
That's like,
if you know, do you know the population?
I think we're up to 10 million now.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, it's not that big.
Yeah, I mean, I live in Tampa. I'm in Tampa in Florida. I think the population of the Bay Area here, this is probably like 2 million people, and it's not, and you have a ton of room here, so I can imagine it's really different in a smaller country like that, man. It's really interesting. What was growing up like for you? Sounds like you had a really good childhood with all the music stuff.
Oh, yeah, man, I did. Like a normal kid. I mean, 2 awesome parents supporting. My dad played a lot, still plays a lot. So
What does he play?
In the beginning,
is he a guitar player?
Mainly bass, actually. He plays guitar as well. Probably better than I do, but yeah. Did you guys play it? You ever played with your dad? No, not really. We have played a little for fun at home. Never done any shows or anything together.
Right, that would be cool.
Like that. Yeah, but that's nice. He's the one who got me my first guitars, my first electrical guitar, and all that. Also, side story. When I was how old was I? I don't know, 7 or 8, something like that. I wanted this album for Christmas by a Swedish pop artist, really big in Sweden. So that's basically all I wanted for Christmas. Come Christmas morning, and I have a present under the tree, and I can see it's a CD because of the shape of the package. I open it, and he's gotten me like the first Sabbath album. And I was so upset. I think I started crying when I got that one. So I had no idea who Sabbath were.
Sure.
But I guess that got me on the right track.
Yeah, man, that's really cool that your dad bought you a Black Sabbath record. That's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm grateful. This day, I am grateful.
Is your dad a full-time musician or
no,
part-time?
He was when I was born, and for some years I think. Then he played. What's that style called? It's called the dance band in Swedish, and that's like more of this I don't know, folksy kind of thing.
Okay.
Old people like to dance to it.
Sure, like Swedish folk music.
Yeah, a bit like that, but more silly. But no, not today. He teaches today. He's a teacher.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Did you study music beyond middle school, like theory or playing, or are you pretty much self-taught?
Kind of a mixture, actually. So I started guitar in middle school, and then I kept at that. So we have this thing called the music school, in which you can take lessons until you're 18, I think.
Wow.
So I did that, me and a friend. But that was us doing like a classical acoustic guitar. So I did that for a while. Never was really into practicing though. So at the time when I discovered Metallica when I was younger, so we asked our teacher, can we do some Metallica songs? So we did their slow songs. They're picky things. So we got to do that instead. So I never really learned any sheet music or anything. I started to, but then I kind of drifted off.
Sure.
So we did that instead.
That's really cool that they allow you to do this. And I mean, I'm just blown away by how smart that is. And is there just curious? Is there a drug problem in Sweden?
I mean, not sure actually. I guess a bit of that maybe, but I'm not really up on.
Well, you know what, the fact that you're not sure means no, because if there was, you'd know about it. Obviously, you know. I mean, you're even if you're not watching news, you'd be around stuff like. Because I don't watch news, but I know there's a drug problem here, bad.
Oh, right.
You know, and I would love to see some statistics or studies that would relate the lack of drug issues to something like that, because it's a hell of a lot smarter to invest money into, you know, creative programs for kids in school than freaking prisons or something like that. Wow. That's just so great. Really cool.
Yeah, man.
Let's talk about gear and music for a little bit. Did you see a lot of concerts growing up?
Well, not really. Not until I was about, I don't know, maybe 16, 17. That's when I started to that's when I started going to concerts.
Sure.
That's before that, not so much, actually.
Any good ones you saw that you can remember?
My first big concert was actually a Metallica one.
Very cool.
Yeah, I got it for a birthday present when I was probably 15 or something. And I saw the big stadium in Gothenburg they played, which was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, but then one of the best ones I've seen is Turbo Negro, if you know them, the Norwegian.
Hang on. I think I have an article. Is it a guitar player?
No, the band, Turbo Negro.
No, I don't know. I don't know them.
Norwegian rock and roll act. Which I saw when I was quite young, which was awesome as well.
Have you heard of this band? I think they're Swedish. Hang on a second. I'm going to ask you if you've heard of this band, the Helicopters.
Oh yeah, of course.
What kind of music? Because you know who I think Tommy Halapa.
Yeah.
Told me about them. I haven't listened to them yet. What kind of music is that?
Oh, it's like straight up rock and roll.
Okay.
And just awesome. Like with quite a lot of soul-y feeling to it.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's super, super nice band. They're big in Sweden.
Yeah. Are they still around?
Are they? That's a good question. Let me check, because I know that they went on a break and then they have done some some gigs. I don't.
So I'll spell it for the listeners while you're checking that out. It's a cool band called the Helicopters. It's HELLA Copters. So like Helicopters. And when I interviewed Tommy Jalapa, who is the brains and he's a founding member and the writer and the guitar player for both Dozer and Greenleaf, he told me, and some of the titles of the records are really funny, like Super Shitty to the Max.
To the Max, yeah.
Yeah, that's such a funny title. Cream of the Crap, Volume 1, Volume 2, yeah. Rock and Roll is Dead. I mean, it's just like very tongue-in-cheek about this stuff. And he said, and now you've the second person that told me out, they're really good bands. So, and they got like tons of, 20, 30 albums or something like that.
Oh, yeah. They were super productive.
Been around for a while.
When they were like really active.
Let's talk about guitars for a minute. What's your primary guitar you're playing, and like what's your top three that you like playing?
So today I am using a Stratocaster, actually. Just a standard Mexico one. I have changed the pickups to I have the lace set there.
Oh, the lace sensor.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's the red, silver, and blue, if I recall.
Very cool.
They work quite well with a bit of fuzz on them.
Is that what you recorded the record with?
Yes, I did all my parts with that one, and Robert used his. He's got this awesome Gibson RD from '78.
What's an RD? I've never seen that.
Oh, you gotta Google that guitar.
I've never heard of an RD. Let's do that right now. Gibson RD. Take a moment to Google. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's like it's coming up with it's like a Firebird.
Yeah, exactly. It's got
looks really cool, man.
It's really nice.
Very cool.
It is. So yeah, I think we did those two guitars on for the entire record, actually.
Awesome. Do you have any other guitars that you're playing?
No, at the moment I have that one. I have another Strat, Yamaha, actually, from '82, I think. Like Super Rock and Roller or something it's called, in this wooden finish. And that's at the moment, those are the only two guitars that I have. I before that I played an Ibanez, one of their artists once.
Oh, the semi-hollow?
Yeah, but it wasn't a semi-hollow.
It's an artist series, but
like
yeah, because they do make some Strat type guitars. Ibanez makes some Strat type guitars for sure, man. Yeah, I think Andy Timmons plays one of those, if I remember correctly.
All right.
Do you?
So I.
Sorry.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
What are you playing out of? What amp?
So now I am using a transistor. Is it called transistor?
Yeah, you got
English?
it.
Yeah. So I'm using an Orange Crush, the CR120. It's called.
Very cool.
120 watts transistor.
Dude, is that enough output?
I think it is. Actually, we don't play that big venues or anything, so
holy
that's
shit.
So far it's nice.
Yeah, man, that's
and I it's pretty small, but it does the work. It's nice to have like that when you're out playing, because it doesn't really break, and if it does break, I mean it's really cheap.
That's great.
So I can afford to get a new one. We have this kind of sponsor thing with Orange, so we buy them at a discount.
That's great.
Yeah, that's nice.
For
the record, though, we tend to borrow stuff that we like. So I played through a Hiwatt Custom 100, I think. It's Dango's head, actually.
Man, he's got some great equipment. He gets some good tones, that guy.
Yeah. Oh man, yes. Because we were in their studio Bomb Shelter, recording. So, and we had free access to their stuff. So let's try everything until we get what we like.
It sounds great. The record's great, man.
Thanks.
Top. Do you know the expression desert island discs?
Yeah.
So what would be your top desert island discs? No particular order. Knee jerk reaction.
Yeah, of course. Let me see. So, not that I'm that into them anymore, but I gotta pick probably Master of Puppets by Metallica.
I figured you'd be coming up with a Metallica record. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not that into them anymore, like at all. But I mean, there's some kind of nostalgia thing that stays with you.
I totally get that, man.
So I would most definitely pick that album. Probably something by Queens of the Stone Age as well. They were like an early discovery for me.
By who?
Rated R, I would say. By Queens of the Stone Age.
Oh, Queens of the Stone Age. Yeah. Sorry, it broke up.
Oh.
Yeah, that's cool.
So Rated R by them. And then maybe a little twist, because I really like. Have you heard Gorillaz?
Yeah, with a Z. My older son, who's probably like your age, likes them.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
Or I used to. I mean, I would probably do something with them as well.
Very cool.
What's it called? Demon Days? That's what it's called. Their album.
And that's Gorillaz with a Z, right? G-O-R-I-L-A-Z. Yeah, my son knows them.
Yeah, exactly. They don't do any kind of rock thing at all.
No, not at all. But it's got a great groove, man. It's got a very good vibe, good groove there.
But I mean, that's as you said, that's like the knee-jerk response. There's probably a ton of things I left out.
It's interesting when you talk about Queens of the Stone Age. So Troy has this other band called Gone is Gone.
Oh, right. I haven't listened.
Man, it's amazing because I listened. They have 2 albums out, and you listen to them, and I realize how responsible he is for the Queen's sound. I mean, he's really tremendously. You listen to those 2 records, you're like, wow, you can see how influential he is in Queens of Stone Age sound. It was great records, man. If you like that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice. Thanks for the tip.
I always ask this question to people from other countries because I think I like to learn. What is your definition of happiness?
Oh, that's a good one, actually.
Yeah, man, we're in the therapy part of the therapy part of the interview.
Well, I could need it. So that's,
who doesn't?
Yeah, true that. Well, I know. When are you happy? I guess on some level, I guess it starts with yourself and like being comfortable in your own skin. I mean, no matter what you do. So like, I mean, so I'm trying to like do this career as a musician, which I don't really make any money from it.
Sure.
But I still feel happy, being able to do the stuff I'm doing and staying true to what I like to do, and being comfortable with the entire situation. Knowing that at least I'm trying and doing something. So I'm not exactly sure what happiness would entail, but something along those lines, like being comfortable in your own skin, and being comfortable with who you are, with your surroundings. So,
thank you, man. That was a very honest answer. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. No worries.
What's your it's interesting when I I've interviewed a bunch of guys from Sweden, and I know these are not the typical typical questions that you get in America. But for a Swedish person, these are totally not typical questions. I realize that, and it's funny because the everybody's different, but like some of the guys that are a little older, they're really not taken aback by the questions, but I could tell they were like, they felt even a little uncomfortable answering them. And I understood it because I get it. But I'm noticing like I didn't sense that, like you were like a little, this is not normal, but you weren't as uncomfortable answering it as they were. And I think it's because there's an age gap, and, people become more and more comfortable with wider things as time goes on, and so the younger people would be less out of their comfort zone than a guy my age, for example.
Yeah, there's probably some truth to that.
Well, I mean, like if I asked your dad that question, he'd probably be like, "What?
What?
What do you mean? What's my definition of happiness? I don't really know if that's any of your business." And first, I mean, not like that, but I would totally expect something like that. Yeah. Something or someone you miss from your childhood.
Something or someone.
Yes.
All right. Well, what I miss. I've been thinking about this recently. Just this when you were a kid, because I grew up in a neighborhood with a bunch of kids running around. So just the thing, going to someone, knocking on their door, asking, is this or this person home? Does he want to come out and play? And that kind of spontaneous thing that I don't really have in my life anymore.
Yeah. It's a very innocent time, right? And it's so no responsibility.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's that. I am fed up with the responsibilities.
Well, it's just so cool to not have any, man. Like, it's like, I don't know about you, when I go away, even if I go away for a night, I disconnect and I just feel so great that I have nothing to do, no agenda.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a good feeling because I have so much responsibility in the real world, So that's what I like, sort of, I like to have the freedom from that sometimes. That's really cool. Do you want to come out and play?
Something like that. But I think more to it, it's like spontaneous, just hanging around with people. Not really, you don't really have to do anything in particular.
Yeah, that's very cool, man. Thank you.
And I don't, that just struck me the other day. I was thinking about that actually. So that's
there you go, man.
Why I answered it.
Well, I'm glad I answered it. I'm glad I asked you that. Most important thing your dad taught you?
I'm trying to pick the best one. I mean, one of them would be about the music, for sure. But more like just how do I say this in a good way? No, more like that. You do whatever you want to do, and that's fine. That kind of
like follow your passion that kind of a thing.
Oh yeah, exactly. Because I mean, he didn't really push me into music or anything. More so than he played what music he liked, and that happened to resonate with me as well. But they both, my parents, have always been like really supportive and really nice. Whatever I might have liked to do.
That's awesome.
That's really nice. I'm quite lucky in that sense, I think.
Well, it's interesting. People often ask me questions, and one of the questions I get a lot is, hey, what do the most successful guitar players have in common? And I would say 99% of them came from an environment where mom and dad were supportive.
Really?
Yes. Even if there was like chaos in the house, like maybe dad was an alcoholic, or, they have financial stress or whatever. The parents of 99% of the people I've spoken to were very supportive. And I don't think that that's random, obviously, but not that high of a number. I think that is, I think if you look at any career, maybe that where you have that support, you're more likely to have a secure feeling about, even if it's not, as you said, as financially rewarding, like the peace that's in you to pursue this is much more, you're much more grounded and comfortable with your decision making, I would think.
Yeah, there's probably something to that. Absolutely.
How about mom? What's the most important thing your mom taught you?
I mean, in a sense, it's kind of the same lesson as the one with my dad, because they were both like, it basically is that the same. Just do whatever you want to do, that follow your passion kind of mentality. Not that they came out and said it like that, follow your passion. It's more like they've always both been just real supportive, not trying to force me to do anything.
That's great.
And letting me make my own choices and mistakes and that kind of thing.
Very cool. Do you have any hobbies or interests outside of music and maybe science fiction, I guess?
Yeah, that's one of them. So when I'm not doing music, I'm kind of a lazy person, actually. So I really enjoy just watching movies, binging series, listening to music, of course. But that sort of thing. I have quite a relaxed lifestyle.
That's
when I'm
great.
Not doing the music thing. I'm not really into that, nightclub active.
Yeah. You know what? We watched this series here. It was I think it took place in Sweden. It was great. It was not a cop show, but it was like detective drama. It was really good, but I wouldn't remember it unless someone pulled it. It was probably about 2 or 3 years ago.
All right. Yeah, we have a bunch of those here, actually.
It was great. And I remember that one of the actors in there was this big, giant guy who I looked him up. Turned out he's like a professional bodybuilder or a professional athlete or just this massive, looked like the Hulk, except the white dude, not green.
Oh, right.
I mean, and he was one of the actors in the show, and he was a really good actor in it. I'm trying to think.
That's nice.
It was very cool.
Yeah, but was it like an American show, or was it a Swedish?
No, it was Swedish.
All right.
It was Swedish.
Cool.
But it was funny. They were, if I remember correctly, they were talking in English.
Was it? Man, we have a bunch of those. I mean, one is called Beck, one is called Wallander.
Yes, that was it. No, it wasn't Wallander. That one we started watching that. Keep going. It was great, man. It was on Netflix. It was freaking amazing.
All right, man. I'm not really. I haven't really watched much.
It was good, and again, part of the cool thing for me is just like the little things about the entrance to the houses there are different. The roads are. I really love seeing that. I probably need to travel more because I really like exploring. And just like when I go places, I don't go to the best restaurant in town. I go to where the local normal people hang out because I want to talk to them.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't want to go to the best restaurant in town. It's not going to be much different than the best restaurant in town in America. It's just overpriced and doesn't teach me anything. But I want to go where the locals eat the good food, or something like that, or sit in a pub or, because that's where you can talk to people freely and they're comfortable and they could tell me about how things go there. And I like to get educated like that, man.
Yeah, so, absolutely. More of an authentic experience.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of travel, what's the favorite place you've traveled?
Probably we did a show a couple of years ago in Innsbruck in Austria. This beautiful mountain village. It's like the village is located in the valley of the mountain. So the backdrop of the city is just snow-covered mountains all around. So that's definitely one of the nicest places in terms of just how it looked. It was awesome as well.
Very cool. I'm going to ask you two more questions, and they're both kind of tough. What's the toughest decision you've had to make, or most difficult thing you've had to do?
Oh man, that is a tough question. Man, that really got me. Do the other hard question first, and maybe we can get back to.
All right. Talk about a specific experience that either changed your life or changed the way you think about things.
So yeah, it's probably my what's it called, my grandmother. She died when I was 10, something like that, and that was my first real encounter with death and mortality.
Yeah,
and that sort of thing. So I mean, in a sense, that got me thinking. Yeah, and made me realize that that everybody dies. And so that set in motion that whole kind of existential.
Pretty thinking. Heavy.
Yeah, and so that probably that changed my look at. Well, not changed it. It more led me to discover that all the things about mortality that all of us humans share. That got me thinking in those sort of ways.
Thank you.
I guess so. Yeah, that stuck with me for quite some time.
Thank you for sharing that, man.
Oh no worries at all.
Do you want to go back to the other question? Toughest decision you had to make, or most difficult thing you've had to do?
Let me see. I'm too boring for this. I realize now. Thinking.
No, you're not too boring, dude.
The thing is, I haven't really gone through that many hardships. Really.
Great. I will tell you.
It is great. I mean, I have some issues like everybody, I guess.
Sure.
But, I mean, nothing really. I mean, I've led quite an easy life, to be honest. That's
wonderful. I hope you come back here in 10 years and I ask you the same question. You're still just as stumped. Seriously, man. I hope that for you, because that means that everything's been really smooth, and why the hell not? It's got to happen to somebody, right?
Yeah, maybe.
That's totally cool, man. It's very fair, and I thank you for going back and thinking about that.
No worries. If I come up with something, I will let you know.
I hope you don't, honestly.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah.
Let me first of all, thank you very much for your time, man. You're a super sweet guy. You're a great player, and you have a great band, and you guys have written an amazing record called Earth. And I want to tell people where to find it. Again, the band is called Skraeckoedlan, is the best of my Swedish I could do. And I'm going to spell it out for you one more time. It's Skraeckoedlan, and their website is skraeckoedlan.com, and you can get the new record there. You have it's like a special box set it's kind of coming out with a whole detailed story about the song and the book and everything, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. So we did we split the album into two vinyls called Earth Above and Earth Below.
Oh, cool.
It's the same songs. It's but as you said, this box set, and it features a lot of artwork, and we have it. Yeah, I think we put 5 posters in there, some pics and patches, and all kinds of.
Will I play as good as you if I get the pics?
Sorry?
Will I play as good as you, as well as you do, if I get the pics?
Oh. I see. Yes, guaranteed.
Guaranteed. So get on this right away. Hey, also, you can go to Facebook and look up Skraeckoedlan there. And if you're still struggling with the name, just go to my website at everyonelovesguitar.com, and you'll look up Henrik Gruttner, and it's right there next to his name. And Henrik spells his last name Gruttner, and it's pronounced Gruttner. And the band is touring as of the date this drops. They're going to be in Denmark soon. They're going to be in Sweden and playing with Dozer and
yes,
Tommy Jalapa, one of the greatest bands ever. And they will also be at Desert Fest in London in May. And then they'll be touring a couple of more dates in Sweden in May. So if you're from Sweden listening to this, if you don't know the band, definitely get on them. If you're from Europe or any place else, check them out and maybe go to Desert Fest in London. Great band. And if you're from all over the world, please buy or stream or support the band. Really, this is like one of the most ambitious. You don't see people making, this is like, conceptually, it's like Quadrophenia or Dark Side of the Moon. It's a concept album. You don't really see people doing that anymore. And you guys did a great job. You really did a good job, man. And if you speak Swedish, you'll enjoy it. I mean, I love it. And I can barely speak English. So Swedish is totally a push, but it's great. So any final words, Henrik?
Well, first, thank you so much for the kind words. That's really
my pleasure, man.
It warms my cold Swedish heart.
No, it's a great record. I really dug it. I was so happy I got turned on to it.
Yeah, and I mean, no, not really. Check out our music. You might like it. I don't know. Stay good to each other, everybody.
There you go, man. Thank you.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
Hey, man, thank you again so much. I appreciate your time, and best of luck with the record and with the band, and I hope to have you back sometime and check out the next disc you guys drop.
Would be my pleasure.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this interview, share it with your friend on your social media channels. We appreciate your support. Thanks very much to Henrik Gruttner for spending time with us, and please check out the band and the new album, Earth. Make sure you go to everyonelovesguitar.com, sign up to get on our newsletter list so you and I can connect. And most important, remember that happiness is a choice, so choose wisely. Be nice, go play your guitar, and have fun. Till next time, peace and love, and I'm out. We hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, subscribe to the Everyone Loves Guitar podcast, and you can do this online at everyonelovesguitar.com or on iTunes. And if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star positive review. The more 5-star reviews we get, the higher our show ranks, and higher rankings mean we get to continue speaking with cool, interesting guests on our show. We'll see you on the next episode, and until then, keep playing your guitar and have fun making music.